humble myself under your mighty hands and watch as you work out your infinite plan. I don't want to stand in the way of your will, so I'll choose to humble myself. I'll humble myself under your mighty hands and watch as you work out your infinite plan. I don't want to stand in the way of your will, so I'll choose to humble myself. Sometimes I feel letting go, but I try. Sometimes I feel letting go, but I try and trust, for you are the way, you are the truth, you are my life. For you are the way, you are the truth, you are my life. You are my life. I humble myself under your mighty hands and watch as you work out your infinite plan. I don't want to stand in the way of your will, so I'll choose to humble myself. Sometimes I feel letting go, but I trust. Sometimes I feel letting go, but I trust and trust, for you are the way, you are the truth, you are my life. For you are the way, you are the truth, you are my life. You are my life.
Hello everyone, and greetings to all in the matchless name of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It gives me immense joy and great pleasure to welcome you all to yet another episode of Youth Focus. In this world that we are living in, we are in constant search of solutions to be a known figure in the society. We all are too worried to be accepted among other people. We all trying to cultivate that feeling of being accepted among others through our fame, through our money, through our education, or through our works. But what we humans fail to understand is that no one other than God has the right to validate us, because we are born of Him, we are His children, and He has given us a new identity. And above all this acceptance is only available through God's grace. And we have Brother Johnny Varghese from Mumbai, who will be joining us and will be giving us a much deeper insight on today's topic of acceptance, validation and identity. And Brother Johnny Varghese is a teacher by profession and also provides coaching lessons to students who are preparing for the admissions to the Indian Institution of Technology. And dear brother also engages in serving the Lord amongst the youth in Mumbai. Let us prayerfully, with humbleness, sit before His presence and let this session be a blessing to each and every one of us in the coming days. May His name be glorified.
Hi everyone, in this video let's begin by looking at some of the things that we do. All of us may not do all the things that I'm going to mention here, but most of us do some of these things. And moreover, we see people doing these things not just in our day and age, but also during the time of the Bible. The first thing is putting our personal thoughts or activities online. I'm not referring to professionals putting their work online in order to attract clients, or I'm not referring to people who may be just updating their extended family about what's happening in their lives. I'm referring to people putting content from their own personal lives online just to show the world that this is what I am and this is what I'm doing. Now, in the olden days, during the time of the Bible, there was no internet. But in Isaiah chapter 3 verse 16, the author mentions women in Israel, and he says, they deck themselves up from head to toe, they strut around with necks held high and covetous or lustful eyes. So you see a similarity there. These were people who were trying to be glamorous, they were trying to show off, and there were no cell phones in Isaiah's time, but you can almost imagine these people taking selfies of them every few hours. The second activity that I have in mind is church activities. Now, church activities are a good thing, but sometimes we may not be doing them for the right reason. In the New Testament, we read about the Pharisees, and they used to make long prayers, they used to give offerings, and they used to do all this in front of other people. Then sometimes we indulge in gossip or slander. You talk something bad about somebody else which may not be true or which may not be relevant, or you might just put things in such a way as to show that this person is bad and I'm good, or I'm having such a tough time, and so on and so forth. In Psalm 41, David, the psalmist, complains about some of the people that were with him in the court, and he says that their speech was as smooth as butter. They were so friendly to me, and I was nice to them, but inwardly they were hostile to me and they were behaving like my enemies. In other words, they were playing politics, they were gossiping, and so on. The other thing that we sometimes do is we worry excessively about our appearance, or how popular we are, or how cool we seem to be in front of others. There are many people who are unhappy because they are unsatisfied. They're not happy with their appearance. And in the Bible, we read of some people who did not confess Christ openly because it says they loved the praise of men more than they loved the praise of God. So here were people who were keen to be popular in the eyes of others. In 1 Samuel chapter 15, there is this sad incident where Saul meets Samuel. And Samuel tells Saul that you have disobeyed God and you're going to lose the kingdom. God is going to choose somebody else. And after saying all those things, Saul does not say that, okay, I'm sorry for what I've done. I would like to change my ways. Will God have mercy on me? That's not what he says. He says, okay, but could you please just worship along with me? Could you just participate in the religious function that I'm doing? Because then it will look good in front of all the elders and the senior people of Israel. So here we see that Saul was very conscious of how his appearance would be in front of other people. Perhaps not physical appearance, but his social appearance. In 1 Samuel, we also read about the people of Israel asking Samuel that we want to have a king over us. This was not God's plan. But the reason that they gave is, they said, we want to have a king over us so that we might be like the other nations. Other people, when they look at us, they should not consider us weird. They should not consider us different or out of place. We want to be like everyone else. So they were concerned about their appearance, how they look in front of others, how popular they were, or how they fit in with others. So you have that in ancient times, you have that today as well. Some of us go to extraordinary lengths. We take great efforts, we go out of the way to become great in our professional lives, to excel in our career. I'm not talking about just a reasonable hard work or a reasonable effort that you put in doing your job properly. I'm talking about people going out of the way by hook or crook to become great in their career. And that happens today. And similar things even happened in ancient times. In Isaiah chapter 39, there's an incident where there are these emissaries from the king of Babylon who come and visit Hezekiah, the man of God, the king of Judah, who is at Jerusalem. And what did Hezekiah do to these people? He showed them all his wealth. I mean, Hezekiah did not have a career like you and I would have today, but he was a king, and so he was rich, and he showed them his wealth in order to prove to them that, look, I'm not just one of those small-time kings that you think inhabit this region. I am someone significant. I am somebody. I mean, you can take me seriously. If I decide to help you, then my help would be significant for you. I am someone who is great. That is what Hezekiah wanted to prove to the emissaries who came from Babylon. And so he showed them all the treasures that were in his palace and in his capital city. So we try to show that we are someone who is great professionally or great financially. And then another thing that happens today is profuse praise for a little thing that is supposedly done for God. Profuse praise for a little thing that is supposedly done for God. So this happens sometimes in church where we have some small function, some small event, and we are supposedly doing these things for God, but when someone does something, they expect everyone to praise them so much, and this exchange keeps happening back and forth. In 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12, Paul speaks of people who commend themselves, and then they compare themselves with each other. So they make each other happy. They say, I'm good, you're good, I praise you and you praise me, and we all feel good, and that's how it works. So if you look at all these activities that are commonplace today, you'll find a common trend, and that is the need for acceptance, the need for validation, and the need for an identity. We do all these things because inside, even if we are not very conscious of it, we have this need for acceptance. And we do all these things so that we are accepted by others. If you look good, if you speak well, if you have a good sense of humor, if you're an interesting person, then you will have good acceptance among your friends. If you appear to be spiritual, if you appear to be very helpful in church, if you're very talented and you can use your talents in church, then you will have acceptance in the church. If you excel in your professional or financial life, then you will perhaps have acceptance and respect from various people in the community, especially from older people. So we have this genuine need, we have this real need inside us to experience acceptance, to experience that other people approve of us, validate us, to have this feeling that we belong to something which is bigger than ourselves. And sometimes in order to fulfill this need, we may end up doing things that are maybe wrong, maybe harmful, maybe not the will of God, maybe not the best thing for us to do. About the Apostle Paul, it says like this, that there was a companion called Demas. And Paul says, Demas has left me because he loves this present world. And one of the benefits that the present world offers to us in return for what it wants us to do is acceptance, is popularity. So you have this desperate factor, this desperate driver of human activity. Now the Bible has something very specific to say in response to this. I'm reading from Ephesians chapter 1 verse 6. Here it says that God has made us accepted in the beloved. The word for accepted there is God has made us someone who is favored. God has showered his favor on us. So what does this mean? It means that if we are in Christ, if we are people who have put our trust in Christ, then God accepts us. He looks with favor on us. Just as Christ is acceptable before God, because we are in Christ, therefore we are also acceptable to God. So the point here is that, we may strive and try so hard and do so many things to get acceptance, but that is an exercise in futility, because God says here that He already accepts you. He is already giving you the very thing for which you are running here and there and trying so hard. So God has made us with this need for validation, this need for a sense of belonging, but He has also provided us the right channel to fulfill this desire, and that channel is Himself.
For you are the way, you are the truth, you are my love.
Thank you all for tuning in for today's session. The subject will be continued in the next episode. And please do continue to watch it. Until we meet, may God bless you all.
You are my love.